Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Horrible bosses. We've all had them. Whether it's the tyrant who schedules meetings at 7 a.m. just to watch you squirm, or the one who thinks giving you a compliment is putting you on the list. The horror stories are endless. Today in the rLounge, it's corporate madness. My a-hole boss treated us like crap and broke regulations. We exposed him to his wife and the labor board. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing anymore, but I need to get this off my chest, and maybe, just maybe, someone out there can tell me if I'm the a-hole here. Because I swear, I've just had it with being treated like a second-class citizen in my own dang country. I'm a grown man with a new wife at home, but the way I've been treated, it's like none of that means a thing. Alright, let me break this down for y'all. I was stuck working at this hole-in-the-wall store for about 3 years. It's one of those small-time, we're all about organic produce kind of places. The ones that charge double because everything's locally sourced or whatever. But although small, they have a few branches across the country. You know the type. They pride themselves on being the best when it comes to organic veggies, fruits, and whatever else they sell. At first, it seemed like a decent enough job. Small store, family owned, figured it wouldn't be that bad. Hell, I was even kind of excited about it. But let me tell you, after 3 years, I realized the place is an absolute mess. The way the place is run, you'd think it was a comedy routine, except it's not funny when it's your life. And let me tell you, it's the family that runs this place that makes my life hell. I've been through 2 different administrations now. First, it was the owner's nephew, or something, who I met when I started, and at the end of the time I was there, it was his son, who we'll call Raj. The nephew was annoying enough to deal with, but nothing too hard to handle. Raj is a whole different level of a-hole. Just because he's the owner's son, he acted like he was untouchable, like the rules didn't apply to him. He could do whatever the hell he wanted, and the rest of us, we were supposed to just shut up and take it. Now, I don't have a problem with him based on where he's from or anything like that, but man, I've wondered if this level of arrogance is some sort of cultural thing. But nah, it's just him being a piece of crap. After all, the owner and the nephew weren't this bad. This guy treated the rest of us like we were his personal slaves while he strutted around like he was the king of the castle. Boss man wannabe. Now, when it comes to the pay, there was a good side and a bad side. It was not trash, surprisingly. More than minimum wage, enough to keep body and soul together. And that was the very reason why we all kept up with everything that went down there, I guess. It was just enough money to pay for my online school and take care of most of my needs. But like I said, the hourly rate was not the problem. Oh no. Raj takes the cake when it comes to screwing his workers over. You see, this dude never paid us for the extra hours we actually worked. You stay late to help out when things get busy? Guess what? Those extra hours just vanish like they never even happened. Gone. And when you check your pay stub, there's no trace of that overtime you just put in. He pays you based on the schedule he wrote, not based on when you actually clocked in or out. So no matter how much you bust your butt for this guy, you get nothing extra. That is where the problem is. And here's where it gets hilarious, in the most infuriating way possible. When you start catching on to his little game, you realize there's no point in staying past your shift. After all, any overtime you work ends up being out of the goodness of your heart and nothing else. So, you start packing up your crap and walking out the second your time is up, even if there's a customer still waiting in line. And you know what? Raj will flip out. This maggot gets pissed because you're sticking to the hours he wrote down, the only hours he'll pay you for. And somehow, it's your fault that the store is a mess and the customers are pissed. Like, what did you expect, man? You don't pay your workers for overtime, so don't act surprised when we leave the second our shift ends. But oh, Raj isn't just a cheapskate. He's vindictive as hell, too. You so much as look at him funny, and he'll make sure you regret it. This guy loved dishing out punishment like it was his God-given right. And the worst part? Everyone gets punished, no matter who's to blame. He called it his one for all for one policy, as if he's some kind of effed up Robin Hood. So one person screws up, everyone pays for it. He'll mess with everyone's schedules, cutting hours, changing shifts with zero warning, and then act like we're the irresponsible ones when we show up late because we had no idea our shifts changed in the first place. And he doesn't just change shifts. Oh no, he writes you up. He'll slap you with write-ups for insubordination or irresponsibility, like it's our fault we're not mind readers. I can't even count how many times I was written up because he changed my shift last minute and didn't bother to tell me. Then, when I showed up late, he acted like I was the problem. It's freaking ridiculous. So yeah, that's the crap I was dealing with for 3 years. And the worst part? I'm not even the only one. Every single one of my coworkers has been through the same crap. We were just all trying to survive in the nightmare. And Raj was making our lives hell. One shift at a time. Unfortunately, a lot of the staff there are individuals who I'll say shouldn't exactly be in the country. So I think that's what further emboldened him. Man, don't even get me started on breaks. You'd think a simple smoke break wouldn't be too much to ask, right? Nope. Raj, being the walking nightmare that he is, barely let us have them. I'm talking maybe once in a shift if you were lucky. And I mean really lucky. Forget trying to sneak off to text a friend or check your phone for emergencies. Your entire shift was basically one long stretch of, don't you dare think about taking a break. One time, a coworker who was feeling like crap popped a quick over-the-counter pill in between dealing with customers just to keep going. And Raj? He lost his mind. You would have thought the guy was smuggling drugs out of the register or something. Raj started screaming about how we were unprofessional, treating us like criminals for what? Taking care of ourselves? It was absurd. And while we're on the subject of Raj being a dick, let me talk about the stupid write-ups again. It was like a power trip for him. We were always one step away from being fired, or at least being threatened that we'd be fired, for the dumbest crap. Clock out 2 minutes late? Write up. Accidentally cough in front of a customer? Write up. Didn't bow low enough when His Royal Majesty entered the room? You guessed it, write up. Working there felt like you were walking on eggshells, just waiting for your next scolding from the guy who thought he was gosh dang royalty. And yes, you might ask why we didn't just look for another job, and that's a pretty valid question to ask. It's because it was really hard to find a job that paid as well as that with my skill set. It's why I was going to school online. I was trying to equip myself better for the future. Plus, I've been applying quite a lot, and I've gotten just a handful of callbacks. None of them pay well. The owner, Raj's dad, is actually kind of chill. Rarely saw him, though. He was old, probably too tired to deal with the day-to-day, and he had other franchises to look after. I think I met the guy maybe a handful of times max. And when he did stop by, he was cool. He'd come in, say hi, treat us like we were his partners or something. Respectful, made you forget for the hot second that his son was the worst. But oh, Raj's wife? I swear, if there's ever been a more spoiled, insufferable human, I haven't met them yet. This woman waltzed into the store like she was straight out of Buckingham Palace. And her attitude? She thought we were dirt. Like, there was this one time, this will forever be burned in my brain, when the store had a bunch of delayed deliveries. We finally got everything in, but the place was a mess. Boxes everywhere, products scattered, the works. We were in the middle of sorting it all out, and she walks in, takes one look around, and has a full-on meltdown. And get this, she dumps her iced coffee on the floor, on purpose. Said the store was such a disaster. It wouldn't make a difference if she added to the mess. She literally threw her drink just to make a point. Then, without missing a beat, she turns to one of my coworkers and demands they clean it up. Like, what the actual hell? We're all standing there, mouths open, but because she's Raj's wife, we can't say crap. Raj didn't mind yelling at us, keeping us on. Her? She'd make sure we got fired. The only person in that family who hasn't completely gone off the deep end is their kid. Maybe because he's still young, still redeemable. Kid hasn't hit those teenage years yet where he turns into a mini Raj, but I wouldn't hold my breath. It's only a matter of time before he follows in their footsteps and becomes just as much of a nightmare as his parents. Anyway, aside from Raj treating us like garbage, there's the food situation. This didn't happen every day, but it's still effed up enough that it's worth mentioning. The goods move in and out pretty fast, mostly because they sell organic stuff, and people eat that up. But every now and then, things don't sell in time. Like normal stores, we'd take expired food off the shelves. I thought that was the end of it, but no, Raj, being the absolute scumbag that he is, had other plans. We'd come in the next day, and all that expired food we just took off the shelves, it'd be right back up there. Same food, new expiration dates. Raj would print out new labels and slap them where the old ones were. It was straight up fraud. Entire batches of food, bread, produce, you name it. Everything that should have been tossed out, he'd just repackaged like it was fresh. And there were rumors, whispers among the staff, that Raj would even take expired milk, mix it in with the good stock, and put it right back in the fridge. I wasn't sure if that part was true, but I hoped it wasn't. If all that wasn't enough, there was the cheating. Oh yeah, Raj was a piece of crap in his personal life too. Dude couldn't keep it in his pants. He had women coming in left and right, but there was this one woman in particular. She was in the store all the time, asking to see the boss. We all knew what was up. Raj would take her to the back office, and they'd disappear for a while. We weren't idiots. We knew what was going down back there, and the wife had no clue. She thought her scumbag husband was just this hardworking manager, busting his butt for the store, while in reality, he was sneaking off to bang this woman right under her nose. That's the life I was stuck living for the last 3 years. Raj, his psychotic wife, expired food, write-ups for breathing wrong, the place was a nightmare, and I was losing my mind. I kept quiet about all this BS for way too long. I needed the job. I was just starting a family, trying to finish my online course, and I didn't want to make waves. It was selfish, but I had to survive, and somehow, it was like I could endure what was going on just for that. I couldn't afford to start looking for another job, especially when I don't have glowing qualifications. But the final straw, the thing that pushed me over the edge, was when Raj wrote me up for disrespect. All I did was ask for an advance to help pay my rent, and this a-hole laughed in my face. Then he had the audacity to make snide comments about my background, my age, and how I should be working more hours to earn my keep. Here's the thing though, I had worked extra hours. The problem was Raj never paid me full wages for any of them. Like I said, this guy only pays for the hours he deems worthy, meaning whatever random amount he feels like at the time. He always found some excuse to dock my pay, saying I wasn't productive enough or that my attitude was bad. I was busting my butt, but the man just didn't care. So when he insulted me like that, it was the last straw. That's when I finally decided to do something about it. I started talking to my coworkers, and it turned out I wasn't the only one sick of Raj's crap. We all wanted him to go down. One of my coworkers, Sarah, came up with a plan to expose him, and trust me, she was smart about it. Sarah somehow got a hold of Raj's wife's contact details. We had this shared document on the store system that had all the sorts of contact info, and Raj, being the dummy he is, never bothered to secure it properly. So Sarah created a fake email account and started sending Raj's wife a series of emails, pretending to be a concerned customer. She wrote that she had heard rumors about Raj's affair, and she wasn't just pulling random accusations out of thin air. Sarah sent these emails in a way that made it seem like everyone around Raj knew what was going on, except for his wife. That part was key. She made it personal, as if Raj's wife was the last one to know. And here's where it gets even better. Sarah has been snapping photos of Raj whenever he was out with these women, like when he'd be in his car with them or holding hands as they walked through the parking lot. We're not sure if Raj's wife confronted him at home or what excuse he gave, but she didn't reply to the emails at first. I guess she just read them. Until one day when Sarah was working and Raj's side chick walked in like usual, Sarah was waiting for this moment. Right before Raj and his mistress disappeared into the back office for one of their little sessions, Sarah sent a message to Raj's wife, detailing exactly what was happening. She included specific details that only someone in the store at that moment could know. So maybe Raj's wife couldn't just brush it off, because Sarah even gave her the exact time the side chick showed up, adding, "If you want to see for yourself." Not even 30 minutes later, Raj's wife stormed into the store. She didn't waste time. She went straight to the back office and busted open the door, catching Raj and his side chick red-handed. The look on Raj's face when she walked in, priceless. His wife was screaming at him, throwing whatever she had in her hands. The side chick was out of there faster than you could blink, leaving Raj standing there looking stupid. Word on the street was that there was a massive fight at their house later, and I knew the divorce papers were on the way. I mean, Raj was practically living in the store after that. But as satisfying as that moment was, I wasn't done yet. I wanted Raj to pay for all the other shady crap he'd pulled over the years. And remember how he was paying us for our hours? That's a straight-up violation of the Fair Labor Standards Act. According to the federal law, an employer has to pay you for every hour you work, including overtime, and they can't just ignore that. Plus, if you don't get your legally required rest breaks, the employer has to pay you for that time as well. Raj had been breaking every rule in the book, and I happened to know a friend of a friend who made my reporting easy, and I was sort of scared to go directly at first. He pushed me to the right channels. So, I went to the labor board. I had kept everything, pay stubs, schedules, write-ups, you name it. I showed them how Raj was messing with our shifts, not paying us for overtime, and skipping our lunch breaks sometimes. According to the law, for every missed lunch break, your employer has to pay you an additional hour of wages. I had months of missed lunches saved up, so I filled out the paperwork, turned everything in, and waited. And guess what? Raj had to cut me a check for over $5,600. That was for unpaid overtime, missed breaks, and all the other money that he shorted me over the years. It wasn't the most massive amount, but man, it felt good to get that money back. But I wasn't finished. I knew my job would be gone after all this, but we were in too deep. I reported Raj's disgusting food practices to the health department. I had pictures of the fake expiration labels, the spoiled food he put back on the shelves. They did a surprise inspection, and from what I heard, they fined the store. Raj got hit from all sides, and there wasn't a dang thing he could do about it. It even got the old man to come around, and the way everything was going on, it looked like Raj wasn't going to be the manager for long. Of course, that turned out to be the case. I've been out of that hellhole for a few months now. I got fired, someone snitched, and I and Sarah got fired. So I'm still angry, although I expected it. But at least I got some justice. So am I the a-hole for what I did? Because right now, I feel like I shouldn't have done this. Should have just continued the job with the pay. My wife is giving me hell, and I don't even know what my next move is. I've been searching for another job with similar compensation, but no luck. But then, if I hadn't, not only would I have not gotten the satisfaction from Raj getting fired, but people could have remained at risk of consuming things that had gone bad. Edit. I know a lot of you are of the opinion that I should have just left when things were getting bad, but I don't think you know how badly I want to make my life better. I had a job that was paying enough to keep my online school going, and I didn't want to do anything to potentially jeopardize that. In the end, I did, but I put up with it for as long as I could. You're not the a-hole, OP. You really faced a lot on that job, and it's clear how much it affected you. Raj's behavior was not just bad management, it was downright abusive, and you shouldn't have to endure that for so long. It's tough when you feel trapped in a situation because of financial needs, but you took the brave step to stand up for yourself and your coworkers. Reporting Raj was a significant decision, especially knowing the risks involved, but it sounds like it was a necessary one. You were looking out not just for your own well-being, but also for the safety of customers who could have been affected by his shady practices. As for your wife, it's natural for her to be worried about the fallout, but hopefully she'll come to see that your actions were more than just the immediate consequences. You did what you felt was right, and sometimes that means making hard choices. Do you have a horrible boss story? Share it with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time, and please put your chair back where you found it.